Also happening on Saturday night and happening on NBC Sports Network is World Series of Fighting 7, and joining us once again in studio. Last time you were coming off an injury. This time you're a few days away from a big fight. Brian Cobb, assistant wrestling coach at CSUB, CSUB wrestling alum, and World Series of Fighter competitor. Hey, thanks for joining us, man. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it a lot.
What's the this is the final few days. What's it like the final few days before you push to weigh in and the big fight?
It's busy. It's really busy. I got to coordinate. Obviously, I have a wife and a child, so we got to coordinate her work schedule, my leaving so I can get out there on time. I've got a bunch of media stuff I have to do Thursday in Vegas. Weigh-ins are Friday. Make sure anybody that's going out there and needs to contact me about stuff gets that all lined up. Yeah. I got to make sure my business is squared away. So add all that into final stuff to keep everything sharp. Good last grappling session, good last wrestling session, good last mitt session, and trying to get my weight down. So
yeah,
it's a grind.
Is it worrisome at all? I mean, I know those last few days you want to get like you said, the last few things in, but you're trying not to work too hard or get hurt. So is it kind of like just being what's it like those last few days in training? I guess
it's a balancing act. If you make one small misstep and you could potentially miss weight. Yeah. And for me, I want to get maximum out of each workout with be able to conserve the most energy. So I want to lose the most weight and reserve as much energy so come fight night Saturday, I can just leave it all in the cage and just feel like a monster. But yeah, it's just, staying on task. That's the biggest thing. And I've got great coaches. Fortunately, I'm still in wrestling with Cal State's team, and they're getting ready for a big duel against Oregon State and ASU. So those guys are keeping me on my toes in there, and I think that's going to play a huge part for me.
I was going to say that. How much of that is your training? I mean, you're in there almost every day. So how much of being in the CSUB wrestling room is your training for your MMA career?
It's without it, I probably wouldn't even be a fighter. I go in there 5 days a week, sometimes if something comes up, but I couldn't imagine what kind of a fighter I would be if I wasn't doing that. Because even when I'm not training for a fight, I'm not in a camp, I'm still at wrestling practice. I may miss a jiu-jitsu practice or a boxing workout here and there, but I'm still at wrestling practice every day. So it's huge.
How much of wrestling is still a part of MMA? Like early on, it was really, really important for a lot of guys, and then the sports evolved. So how much of wrestling is still a part of mixed martial arts?
Being able to throw a good punch, I think.
Let's talk about your World Series of Fighting 17 co-main event. You're up against Jonathan Nunez, who is 5-0, a young professional, and you're 20-8. You've been in the game a while, so what's this the mentality going into this fight?
Yeah, I'm an old dog, and I know that it's hard to think this is going to be my 32nd pro fight. I'm 23-8.
Yeah,
there's somehow. They never lose the losses. They always lose a couple of the wins in there. Yeah. But, he was actually a recruit to Cal State Bakersfield for the wrestling program. And he wound up wrestling at Boise State for a little while. I think he lost to one of our starters at Cal State, which bodes well for me in a straight wrestling matchup. But I just think that he's a young, hungry kid. And so I'm going in with the mentality that I'm nobody's stepping stone. My career's not over. I have a lot more to prove. I still have big goals, and I think it's actually better for me to beat someone that's 5-0 than it is for him coming off a guy who lost his last fight because of a knee injury. So, I'm just going in there, and I'm just trying to own the moment.
Nice. And how it's been quite a bit since your last pro fight, right? Because of the injuries and things.
Yeah, I fought about a year and a half ago, and just wrecked my knee in the fight, tore my MCL, my LCL, my meniscus. Had to do 8 weeks of rehab, knee surgery, another rehab. Then I was supposed to fight in July, and I severed the tendon in my finger and my hand.
Yeah, the wine bottle incident, yes.
Yeah, I had tons of issues with that, so got that healed up, and Yeah, finally ready to rock and roll. I'm excited. This has been a long time coming.
I was going to say, I mean, I know the layoff. Every other pro sport, you're usually playing. You have a season and you play, and then it's over. You have a little bit of off season. You're back training again. You know, with professional fighting, it could be it could be months. It could be a year and a half between fights. How hungry do you get in those two? In that long distance, just to punch somebody and get back into action.
I've been chomping at the bit. I really have been chomping at the bit to do this. I absolutely love making money. I really, really enjoy competing.
Yeah.
And since I can't compete in the, with a Cal State singlet on anymore,
right.
And the wrestling open tournaments are few and far between, this is what I really enjoy doing. And it was hard having that time off, especially for my weight.
Yeah.
My weight, got a little heavy, but man, I'll tell you what, I learned a lot in the last year and a half. I've learned how to be smarter about my training, how to take care of my body more. And this, in all reality, in the last 10 years of fighting, this has probably been my best camp.
Wow.
I'm coming in feeling really, really strong. My weight's under control. It's better than where I was hoping it would be right now. Light on my feet, fast. And I just feel like I've got a great gas tank right now, which I always have had, but for some weird reason, everything seems to be falling into place for me. So I'm excited.
Nice. Well, and we talked a little about this last time, but World Series of Fighting, you've been involved with them a little bit. Talk about the competitions. You're going to be in the Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. Great venue, great city, and national television as well on NBC Sports Network. So I mean, the stage it couldn't be any bigger.
Yeah, it's great to have that kind of notoriety as far as the main event goes with Brian Foster and Jake Shields. People are going to tune in just to see them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get all that exposure being on the co-main event. I know everyone at my bar is going to be watching. I know I have family all over the country. They're all going to be tuning in. And it's exciting to know you can just go home and turn on your TV and it's there. It's not a pay-per-view event. But, yeah, they're growing. They're growing slow and steady, and they're constantly signing new talent. People may not know who Johnny Nunez is right now, and hopefully they won't after the fight either. They'll just know that I tacked another win on the win column. But they're doing a good job with matchmaking. I was fortunate enough already to fight the current World Series of Fighting lightweight champ in the fight when I hurt my knee. So they're putting quality opponents up there for me, and I'm just going to keep trying to knock them down.
Nice. And we chatted about this a little bit before, but I mean, you're just kind of, you said the good part about MMA is you can kind of figure out when you want to walk away. But you don't sound like you're like thinking this is my last fight. You sound like you have got several more in you.
I have some goals set aside. My wife and I have kind of laid out a map for myself and my career, and I don't like to talk about retiring, and lots of other people say, you talk about retiring, it's time for you to check out. And it's on the horizon. It's definitely on the horizon. It's within sight. I don't plan on doing this into my 40s or even into my late 30s, but we have a very set roadmap in front of us, and we're going to stay the course. And my wife and I have talked about it. We know what I want to accomplish, and we know what it's going to take, and we're both on the same page to get there.
So. Yeah, nice.